Now, talking about some of the other sacred objects, and I talked about water, and I left this bottle here. Many of you have probably heard of this. Maybe you've seen this and wondered what it is. This is called Florida water. Now, whether all Florida water comes from Florida or not is not really the question. The question is how effective it is, because Florida water is used for purification of the home and of any number of items, or if you go to a place and you spill some on the floor for purification. A lot of folks will put this in their cleaning water. For instance, when I am sweeping down my front steps, or even my back porch or my back deck, then after I've swept it down, I have a solution of salt water and also Florida water that I include in the water to wash down the porch. And also then after that I'll just spill some more down for protection. So Florida water is used for that, and then people will often clean their walls when they move into a new space. They'll put some Florida water in it. So it's a very, very strong protective and cleansing agent from a spiritual standpoint. This is an ankh. Ankhs were the original cross. It was the original cross, and it means life. Now, people will ask me about it all the time. What exactly is that? It's beautiful. Can you explain it? People are always attracted to my ring. I wear this big ankh ring, and I don't know if you can get in tight on that, but you can see there are two arms that are hugging the ankh itself, and so I mean it's a wonderful symbolization of embracing your life. And so that's exactly what the ankh encourages us to do. It encourages us to embrace life. Technically speaking, some say that it represents the womb and the fallopian tubes of the woman, and then also the male member. That's one explanation of it. The deeper explanation really is that this is the horizon. This is the river Hapi, or the Nile, as it came to be called, but the original name was Hapi. And this represents the sun over the horizon. And there is an epic story about the battle of Heru and Set. And long story short, the extremely condensed Reader's Digest version, Heru was seeking vindication for his father's throne. His father had been killed and the family thrown out of the kingdom. Heru grows up and goes to battle his evil uncle, who has created a reign of terror in Kemet. And so when he battles and Heru wins, it is day. When they battle and Set wins, it is night. The final battle brought about victory in the sun finally emerging over the horizon. But it also represents our overcoming our what is called lower nature, all of those bad habits that we try to get past, the bad character traits, because we all have positive and we have negatives. But the idea is that every single day we face challenges. And so the question is, who's going to win the battle this day? Is it going to be Heru, or is it going to be Set? So the ankh is a very, very deep symbol in the ancient Kemetic lore, but also because of the fact that with Kemet, that's where all religions sprang from. So even no matter what African traditional religion is expressed, there's always a hearkening back to the mother religion, which is the Kemetic religion. These we have seen all over the place. I mean, first of all, people think of the Washington Monument. This is known by some as an obelisk. The common Kemetic term that is used in African traditional religion is a Tekken. And this represents the male principle. And also it goes along with the focus on identity, strength in the yang element. And so these originated in Kemet. And all over Washington, D.C., there are various symbols that were borrowed from Kemet, and the main one that most people can identify with, of course, is the Tekken. Now, we've talked about various aspects of African traditional religion and also the Kemetic beliefs, but this is something that you find in quite a few Southern homes or people who have an understanding of Southern roots. My family, on my father's side, came out of the Gullah tradition, and I have many friends who have kept me in touch with those roots. One of the common things is to have a horseshoe. Horseshoes, of course, people know represent good luck, but with the horseshoe, it is much deeper than that. I mean, if you think about a horse, by putting a shoe on the horse's hoof, you're preparing it for its travels. And so the horseshoe represents the hope for well-prepared travel and wherever it is that life is going to take you. Now, it's always important to keep it facing up, because the belief is that if you keep it up like a cup or a vessel, that it will hold all of the good luck within it. So also for people who are who practice Orisha traditions, they like to get things like horseshoes because it's iron, and the rustier it is, the greater the power. And so you may see them in Ogun shrines, that type of a thing. So this is the horseshoe. And I spoke about the Gullah traditions. Out of the traditions of our ancestors in captivity came up well, I can't even say it's a belief system, but a system of practice in terms of various cultural ways and ways of being able to move energy through what is called hoodoo. Hoodoo is it is a folk tradition. Some people will they call it roots, and a lot of the hoodoo that is practiced can be traced back to various parts of Africa. Now you remember our ancestors were brought here in captivity from all different parts of the motherland. So there was, if you will, a melting pot of traditions that happened in order to survive. Okay, I remember this part of this, let me take this, let me share this with you, piecing together. And also with the Native Americans who were here. So all that blended together to become what is known as hoodoo. This other book that I'm recommending, and I'm recommending two this week, is Stick Stones, Roots, and Bones, Hoodoo, Mojo, and Conjuring with Herbs by Stephanie Rose Bird. Now, this sister has put out quite a compendium of not only of hoodoo traditions, but also of African traditional religious traditions. And so she breaks down exactly about hoodoo. She breaks down about the various traditions brought here, the various aspects of what it is that we still practice today, and it's quite well put together. But she breaks down so much about the different aspects. In fact, just to give you an example, she talks about, she has something about altars, as I had mentioned about last week. She talks about the different elements: fire, water. Just to read a chapter, she says, when full engagement of my ancestors or the person I am working with is needed, I incorporate a bowl of Florida water on the altar. If mourning, death, or remorse is involved, I use Kananga water, which she talks about in another chapter. For banishment of evil, such as unhexing or uncrossing, I use, she says, either a bowl of kosher sea salt, sea water, or holy water. One of the other things that she talks about in this book is, again, the importance of water. And being a water priestess, of course, that's of great importance to me. But one thing that she did through the book remind me of was the importance of collecting rainwater. Natural rainwater is extremely powerful to use for various rituals, for purification, you know, that type of a thing. I would highly recommend this book.